What's up everybody, welcome to MTA, and in today's episode we are going to take a look at itemization in 1.12 and a really cool website you should bookmark yourself already for WoW Classic. And also we are going to tackle the question, will MC be cleared within 1 week of launch? Enjoy! So, welcome everybody to WoW Classic and the MTA series on this channel. I bring you your daily news, rant and comment about World of Warcraft Classic, and we are taking a look at the Blizzard Forum Watch first today, and we got a rather interesting post coming from Nismo, an undead rogue, who would have thought, and he posts a video that is a guy laughing and saying okay plenty of times. I'm sure he is an known artist, not to me, but hey, you know, what do we know? We are you know, just Euro dudes, to not say a bad word right here. But Nismo goes on to say MC will get cleared in 1 week of launch, and he posts the video, so basically that means he doesn't necessarily agree with this statement, and he says that it will not be cleared 1 week of launch. And we will dive into this topic. A couple of people obviously just saying, oh, it will be cleared 3 days after launch, it will be cleared 2 days after launch, no way, and Classic is hard, and the leveling is hard. And so let's take a look at this from a more, you know, objective point of view. So I found this one pretty interesting. So WoW Classic in general, you know, it takes way longer to level to 60, obviously. Let me turn on this light here real quick. And obviously this is it is not like any expansion where you just kind of start and then in like 2-3 days you are max level and you start raiding or you start doing the endgame content. Now typically most of you will probably remember that the leveling process in WoW Classic does take quite a long time, and it is really exhausting for a lot of people. And you know that there's tons of quests right there, and to be quite honest, obviously for a normal person this is not going to be true. So not everybody will be, you know, not even very or players that play a lot will have MC cleared after 1 week after launch. And to be quite honest, there's a couple of things that people say that are where you would stop and say, yeah, interesting, how would they even do that to make that happen? Let me just say that it is possible, sadly, right? It is possible. But you will have to do a couple of things to get that achieved. And I found this first reply from Cruel Int LMAO pretty interesting, and he says there are literally guilds out there that are practicing for week 1 kills. Between leveling groups, gear runs, attunements, and who's grinding Hydraxian rep, they have it all figured out. Reg will not be cleared by all guilds and who have will not be cleared by guilds who have not been practicing this for the last couple of years. Guilds with random players. Also, the new record for 1-60 will be much under 4 days. And I'll go into that after this. Currently there's a guy practicing who has 1-36 dialed in 24 hours, which is ridiculous. And yeah, then he says like Onslaught is a guild that is aiming for 1 week Ragnaros clear. Now, there's a couple of things that are true that aren't true. Well, in this one everything is true. He knows his stuff there. But yeah, 1-60. The world record is I think still held by Joanna on live servers. There's been a private server where somebody did it on I think below. Not quite sure, but in like 4 days something. But I'm thinking the world record. I'm not quite sure, so we'll give Joanna the credit here. 4 days. What is it? 20 hours or something. Not that it matters. 4 days, 20 hours, 49 minutes time of played. But that is Joanna, and he really knows how to level, right? But there's already sites for if you want to go and check that out. Joanna's World has a competition, for example, going on, who can do 1-20 or 1-60 in what time. So there's a lot of hype for the speedrunners, so you can go and check that out if you're into that kind of stuff. at joannasworld.com. And so there, you know, it is possible in 4 days, and it will probably be possible in 4 days, not 4 days, 20 hours, but 4 days. And that being said, that leaves you 3 days basically of playtime to do something, to get raid attuned and go. Now, again, if you are doing this, most people that are actually doing this, they either sleep very, very little, or they share accounts, or they just know what to do. And this is definitely, you know, single cases of people rushing that hard. That being said, again though, for a guild that has been playing private servers, for example, for 7, 6, 5 years. I mean, even we have been going for quite a long time on you know, different projects, and we just know where to go. So, but that's not what we're talking about. Even us, right? We know where to go everywhere. We have like groups that say, hey, we're gonna level together. We know where to go. We know we can do it quite fast if we really try. But I don't really intend to sleep 3 hours to be quick in a game. Not even in Classic. You know, I like my sleep too much, and you know what I mean. I still want to have fun and enjoy it. Some people want to speedrun, that's fine. But that being said, there are a lot of guilds out there that have been doing this, and it's kind of like guilds that have been aiming for Naxxramas first kills the day it comes out, because they have been doing it on other servers already, and then they always practice on their own private realms that are duplicates of the actual servers. They practice to speedrun it with the whole guild. And of course, if you have a whole guild of dedicated speedrunners that are, their only goal is to you know, be very, very quick at stuff, it is definitely possible. So what we'll see is the vast majority of people will take quite a long time to 60. There's going to be a lot of you know, hardcore players that just no-life it, like us, that will just spend a lot of time in there and have a lot of fun in there. And then there's going to be a lot of people that have already been doing it and will no-life it, so they're going to be very, very quickly at 60. And then there's people that are already, right now as we speak, and we have the 10th of May 2019, as we speak, they are practicing 1 to 60 as guilds and killing Ragnaros with you know, kind of like quest reward gear. So the people are out there, so don't get confused, and make no mistake, there are people that are aiming to speedrun this, but of course it's going to be, you know, very, very few guilds, and you might not even have one of these guilds on your server. You would be surprised. I think a lot of people would be surprised how yeah, how do we say this without offending anybody, but how try hard and to a certain degree unpleasantly try hard you know, some guilds are. That's the most diplomatic way I can tell. I can say it. Oh, you know, people have no idea what people are doing in WoW Classic, and how absolutely poopsuck they are. And you know, people practicing right now on private realms to go and be quick on release. If you want to go and do that, that's fine, right? I just don't understand. But it doesn't matter what we understand, what we like. If they like it, they can do whatever the hell they want. And so, you know, people in the forum are acting a little bit shocked, and you know, this will not really be a thing. Now, a couple of things are in the way though, and that would be, for example, how do you douse the flames to summon Ragnaros? So for anybody that doesn't know, you need to douse a couple of flames in order to summon Ragnaros, the end boss of Molten Core. To do that though, you need a certain reputation with the Hydraxian Waterlords, and you would say, you know, technically you would have to run MC a couple of times. That's like the way it was intended, kind of. And then you would have the rep and go to a guy, and you get a quintessence to douse the runes. And so how do you do this if you only got 7 days played? So let's say they're not breaking the world record, they're doing it in 5 days, something, or even in 6 days, and they all hit 60 at the same time. That leaves them, you know, or maybe they do it in 5 days straight, or 5.5. And now the idea is there's a certain mob in Silithus, for example, that you can kill that gives you Hydraxian Waterlord reputation. I believe it is only 5, and of course it takes a long time, but it's only honor, to be honest. And for these people grinding there for 20 hours straight, even if you don't even need it, is no problem for them. It's like an easy grind for them, right? So they are going to level, and then they're going to meet up there while they're still leveling and grind those mobs. Or maybe it's after leveling. I don't know. I'm not too deep in it, but we have we have some access to certain discords. So yeah, they just grind those mobs, and then they have the honored reputation go to the guy to douse the flames, and you can do that in a couple of hours. When I say couple of hours, I'm not talking about 2 hours, but so that's the first thing, wall or filter that you can get rid of quite easily. The other thing is fire resistance. Don't you need fire resistance? And yeah, back in the day, a lot of people wore fire resistance. You don't need it in MC at all. The only 2 guys that need fire resistance, which will make the fight easier, is the 2 tanks, or even 3 tanks tanking Ragnaros, because he does the knockback melee, can just go out before the knockback happens. And the 3 tanks wanna aim for a maximum fire resistance. But there's a certain item in game, and it's called the fiery emblem, I think it is. And you can, I'll show you if this here works. And so you can just channel a couple of items onto these tanks, basically, and you can kill Ragnaros just fine. You don't even need the cap. So where is it? Where is it? There it is. No, fiery. I think it's emblem. So the idea behind this is there's no real border or no real wall really that keeps anybody from clearing it within a week. So if you're looking at this trinket, for example, you have it has 15 fire resistance straight and flat. That's pretty good, and it's not unique. So you can get 2 of these. Of course, you'll have to find them, right? You'll have to find them, and you can do with Ward of Elements. It's a quest reward with 8 fire resistance, all resistances. There are a couple of items out there, and if you know the game in and out already, have played it for 6 years, it's quite easy. So you get 2 of these, and that's already 30 fire resistance just from your 2 trinket slots. And the use effect is 50 fire resistance, and all fire damage taken is reduced by up to 25 for 15 seconds. So the current tank, can just use this, and then when there's a tank swap, the other guy can use it, and so you have like around 45 seconds with huge fire resistance. So that's absolutely doable as well. So back to the post. What does this mean? It is definitely possible, and it might take 1 or 2 days longer than the first week, possibly. Arguments against this are that it's been done on private realms. I remember on a certain server, that's not too long ago, and I believe the server was fresh for 1.5 weeks, and then Ragnaros died with a system message. The admins said, hey, congrats to that and that guild, and they killed Ragnaros, and we're like, what the fuck? We're thinking the same shit. Did they have anybody helping them? They were in quest gear and blue gear, but again, there's so strong quest rewards really out there that you can if you know where to get them, they're pretty strong, and they're really strong. And 1.12 patch is going to be even crazier, right? The rewards are going to be much better. And so what speaks against this is that on certain servers, maybe the XP rates were a little bit too high, but Joanna had it on official, so it's not going to be for a triad player or somebody that just fucking no-lives it. It's going to be 5.5 days probably should be doable. 5 days something. And yeah, so the XP thing is not really a point, because it's been done on official realms. And people say, like, will people be 60 first week? Yes. Will anybody be like 6 out of 10 MC the first week? Lord, no. And the thing is, it's just not true. That's what I meant. People have no idea what's going on with some people. You would be, it's partially at some points it's actually disgusting, but I'm not here to bash on anybody. If you want to play it like that, play it. So yeah, this is definitely going to be the case. I mean, for us as a guild, we will probably be quick, but we're still taking our time a little bit. But that will be much faster than people think, or and people will probably call us being absolutely no life. We just know where to go. So I think that we're gonna be 60 in a week easily, and then we are going to start MC and clear it in the first ID. I'm very sure that we're going to clear MC in the first ID. It's not hard if you've done it a couple of times. So we don't need to ramble on for too long, right? But yeah, you know, the world record is there, and it is definitely possible. But again, maybe you won't have a guild on your server wherever you're starting that has been playing private realms together for 5-6 years, right? Or some been going for 7-8 years even. And you know, it's certainly different. And maybe you won't have that on your server, then you can consider yourself lucky, but in the end, it also doesn't matter. Because if somebody rushes it that crazy, and I'm talking about 3 hours of sleep crazy, and, you know, certain other things crazy, which I don't really want to get into, it's fine for them, right? But it shouldn't touch you, because, you know, look at it this way, it's been done a couple of times before. Don't let your fun get ruined by this, which it really shouldn't, because it's an old game, and of course there are people, you know, if you're playing Super Mario, I believe there's a guy that speed runs it in a couple of seconds. Should you stop playing Mario? No, of course you shouldn't. You should just kind of know, but ignore it, because, you know, the effort to do that is a totally different mindset and game. And sure, if you want to invest that much energy to be the first to kill Ragnaros on Classic Realms, go for it and enjoy. But I mean, I just believe for a lot of people this isn't really worth it. And so yeah, if you have one of those guilds on the server, then you know, don't worry about it. This is also these are also people that usually don't, you know, they're just really playing the game in a little bit different manner. And I'm not talking about hardcore guilds. I'm talking about above that, you know, just absolutely weird. But you know, to round off this topic, because I think this is definitely interesting. First of all, let me know what you think, how long it's gonna take you, and what guild you're going to join. And but yeah, I think Ragnaros is going to die week 1. I really believe so. And if not, then 2 days after that. It's going to be very, very quickly. And so let me know what you believe, and let me know what you are aiming for. And as a last sentence for this, before we go into the next section, is coming in from Iron Pelt, and I found this very interesting. And this is the way it is, really. Without Rag in 2005, it's too late to be first. And with that, it is time for the biz. The biz. And in today's biz, ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out a really cool website for you, and it is called Itemization.info. And this website basically will show you what items look like in what patch. And the interesting thing about this is a lot of people have been asking also on my German channel, you know, can you make like a biz list, or can you make a list of items that are good? And to be honest, I'm not a list guy. I just find it very exhausting to make lists and very time consuming. And usually when you Google, you can check for some lists that already have been made months and years ago. But sometimes you have items in there where you don't know, were they in game already? Because Blizzard said it's going to be 1.12 items patch stand, and what is in the game already from the start will be in 1.12 patch stand. And what will be added, or what was added later in the game, will be added at the point it was added, kind of. And as a rule of thumb, so you can check. So I just thought it was a really cool website for anybody to check out, because what you can do with this is you can go in and you can check for and be sure this is how the item is going to look like on Classic. And that's obviously a really good help, because there's sometimes, you know, a lot of variations with this. So as an example, I wanted to show you the Judgment set from Ali. Okay, we're just gonna put some in there in the search bar for fun. But as you can see, the Judgment spoilers at the very start of the game, they were somewhere in Molten Core. So I found a really cool one. Judgment, can't spell anymore. Judgment bindings, for example, right? So they used to, very early in the game, they used to drop from Shazra and Molten Core. Okay, so you can always see the source down here, and as you can see, it's pretty shit. It's pretty shit, okay, because the tier 2 were just things that were designed for different specs back then. So you have the Judgment, you have the tier 1, and they were all dropped in Molten Core. So that was changed later on, and that was changed to basically a much stronger item with more stamina. And if you check the set bonus, I'm going to talk about it in 1 second. But this year is updated in patch 1.9. So this is the latest version in the game. So you can safely say that with WoW Classic coming out, when Blackwing Lair gets released, you will have these bracers as paladins dropping. And they have spell damage on it already, and they have you know, stamina in, spirit, some strength. So in the end, what you have here, you can see it was in the game from the start, right? So that means it will have this patch stand. Now another example is, for example, Titanic leggings, and you can see here there's only one. They were added in patch 1.10, so they're not going to be in the game in WoW Classic in the game from the start. And when they get added, this is how they're going to like. Then we have the, for example, Spirit of Aqua Mentus, or not. Aqua, there it is. Aqua, Jesus. Aquamentus, okay, I'm very sorry. So this one is in the game from the start, and this is a really cool item because, as you can see, this one had, for example, a mana cost decrease. And it's a quest item from Angoro Crater. It's dangerous to go alone, the Zelda questline kind of. And of course this is really, really strong for new servers because, you know, if you know how cheap a Paladin rank 1 flashlight is, you know, this is basically just makes it free. So this is very strong for any caster really. But it was updated in 1.5 and then it had 20 spell damage and healing, which is still really freaking strong. This is also one of the items I was talking about, you know, killing Ragnaros in the first week, because if you know where to get them, an offhand with 20 spell damage at the start if you're fresh 60 is pretty strong. And there are various items out there. So as you can see, this is how it's going to be in Classic then, because it was updated in 1.5, but it was in the game. So the game reward, so the reward is going to be in the game with the latest patch. Now, I want to show one more thing, which meant, and as you can see, for example, I was at the leggings of the tier 2 Paladin set does drop from Ragnaros and Molten Core, and used to have just 30 healing and you know, some strength and agility, etc. And then it was in various patches it was changed really. So this is why Blizzard wants to go with one version, which kind of makes sense. Because here the difference is like a little bit of stamina, yeah, a little bit of stamina, some strength, and agility is gone then in one patch, and then, you know, from one patch to the other, and then is a little bit more healing. So you can see there's a bunch of changes really that nobody, I mean, it's too healing, and just go with one version, either one. But so this is going to be the version that is going to be in the game from the end. Interesting, what I found interesting, up until patch 1.4, you know, and this is interesting for all the red pallies out there, the 3 set, there were only a 3 and a 5 set bonus, which is kind of cool. And they were the 20% chance to deal 300 additional holy damage whenever you cause a critical hit in the. But this would have been a pretty good fix for red paladins already. And this is pretty strong actually. And, you know, if this scaled with additional spell damage and you had this set, of course it's shit in combination with the healing, but still, you know, it would have been a pretty cool set bonus they could have kept on this set here, but they removed it. And also the casting of all of your seals would have helped any paladin a lot. So they should have taken these 3 and 5 set bonuses and put them here, or at least the 3 set, because or, you know, switch it around. You can see a lot of things on this website basically is what I'm trying to say. For example, set bonuses and all of that kind of stuff. And also the in 1.5 they had the 8 set bonus that inflicted additional holy damage, was 133 holy damage, and that got nerfed to half in patch 1.9. So a lot of interesting things here. I thought I'd share this with you, and I don't want to get it or let the MTA get too long, but yeah, there you go. You got a cool website where you can check out your items and how they changed over the course of the of the game. And yeah, the question of MC will get cleared in 1 week. Do you believe or do you not believe? Put it in the comments below. And yeah, I wish you very pleasant adventures in the world of Azeroth, good drops, fat epics, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.